Hi, do you have a pad open? I got an idiot over here playing games. He's trying to get to the hospital, so he's just playing around.
Records show for more than 7 hours, the 36-year-old father of 3 repeatedly begged to be sent to the hospital. Jail video shows him collapsing in his cell at least 5 times.
This man is a walking time bomb, and they put him in a cell and left him there. That's pretty disturbing.
But then once I had found out, later on that what all had happened, it just made me cry. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
It has bothered me.
Yeah, I understand.
That has bothered me so bad. Because the last thing he was doing, he was looking at me, and he asked for my help.
Why do you say he wasn't having a medical issue right then?
Because I think he was acting out. All along he was acting out, wanting to go to the hospital. And if they'll do anything to go, and he would do anything to go, even if it means picking him off the floor.
Is there anything that you would do different about that night?
Nothing.
That is the face of pure evil, and she's a registered nurse. In 2019, the cold heart of charged Nurse Visser made national news when security footage from inside the Cobb County Jail was released, showing the deliberate and some would say criminal medical treatment provided by charged Nurse Visser and her medical staff in the jail.
36-year-old father of 3, Kevil Wingo, was pronounced at 9:30 on the morning of September 29th, 2019. Less than 2 hours after being moved from the infirmary to an isolated cell inside the Cobb County Jail. An isolated cell some would describe as the hole. And why was he moved? Because he was begging the nurses and guards to help save his life, for someone to listen. Instead, Nurse Visser lied. Watch.
In the video, there are people that we can see that are employees that they're concerned about him in the room, sure. And they stated that he fell over in the room.
No, he didn't fall. Well, I didn't see that, and he never told me he fell. Neither did the other inmates say that he fell.
When I left, when I was walking and got right here to the sliders, I could hear there was other inmates in the room, and they were beating on the glass. They were like, "Please help him." I could hear them asking for them to help.
And he was lying between the 2 bunks. I don't know, maybe he thought that was the bed, or he just wanted to lie there. And the only reason I went there is because that gentleman, Mr. on the right-hand side, said, "Move him because he stinks. We don't want him here."
When they were complaining about being in his boat, it's because he would be standing there and all of a sudden he would just be boom, gone.
No, you don't pass out like that. No, I don't believe that.
It's on video, so he did.
Yeah,
he did.
Did he just pass out and came back?
It's pretty disturbing.
He'd be out for a little bit time, and then he'd wake up and then he'd kind of waffle over to his bunk. He was disoriented.
Does it show where he comes to the other guy's phone?
Mm-hmm. That's right. He falls in there a couple times. We know it was noticed that he was falling out. Can I say that he was faking it or not? To me, it looked real, and I've seen a lot of people fake it.
I don't remember anybody tell me he fell. No. Or that he was bleeding, or that he was vomiting, or anything like that.
Did any of the nurses say that he fell?
No,
to you?
Not to me. No, not to me at all.
Kevil Wingo was originally arrested on or around September 24th, 2019, while smoking a cigarette in front of the motel room that he was renting. When police pulled up, they stated they smelled marijuana. They used this as a pretext to search his car. While searching his car, police state they found a piece of paper with some white residue on it, which they presumed to be cocaine. So Kevil was arrested and charged with possession.
The next thing we know, Kevil was processed into the jail's infirmary on the night of September 24th. For what healthcare staff would wrongly diagnose as opiate withdrawal. Kevil stayed in the infirmary until September 27th. That's when he was released back into general population, with healthcare staff stating no withdrawal symptoms.
On the next evening, September 28th, Kevil would collapse in the multi-purpose room, throwing up and complaining of severe abdominal pain. Kevil lets the nurse and guards know that he has a history of stomach ulcers, and this is why he's so sick. Multiple calls were then made to have Kevil move back down to the infirmary.
Infirmary vet speaking, may I help you?
Hey, Ms. Vet, this is Howard. In Free South, we have a guy named Wingo Kevil Wingo, he has been throwing up for a while now since we came on shift.
You seen it?
Yes, ma'am. I've seen him throwing up.
Hold on, let me look at mine. What's the patient's name?
Wingo.
Kevil. Oh, he's on withdrawal check. Did he get his medicine over there tonight?
Not yet.
The pill nurse hasn't come?
No, not yet.
Okay, well, when the pill nurse comes, can you make, he has medicine for nausea, vomiting, because he's on withdrawal check.
Okay.
So let her know that she can give him that medicine over there.
All right, thanks.
Bye. Infirmary, Vet speaking, may I help you?
Hi, Mr. Vet, this is Natalie.
Hi, Natalie.
I'm calling, I'm sending you one down. He's on the way. He's like laying on the floor screaming. He's sweating. He says he's got abdominal pain, like he's clearly sweating.
Yeah, that's fine.
So he's coming down.
Yeah.
Detoxing, he feel like it's not the detox.
What's his name?
Wingo.
Oh, they were telling me about him. Didn't he get some?
They gave him a Finnegan shot, but he definitely, like, he can't fake this. He's sweating.
So he detoxing still. Well, just send him on down. I guess he's just going to be over here overnight.
Yeah, he's on the way.
And it's important to remember, Kevil told guards and medical staff that he has a history of stomach ulcers. The thing that Kevil didn't know was that his stomach ulcer had ruptured.
When ulcers perforate and are left untreated, these can actually lead to death through widespread infection throughout the body. So these are diagnosed usually clinically. Very often CAT scans and x-rays are not required. It's a very obvious diagnosis to pick up on, and it requires a large, rapid operation to control the leakage from this ulcer.
The pain he was experiencing was from his stomach acid spilling out into his abdomen. You could literally equate this to someone pouring battery acid into your stomach. This is Kevil getting wheeled down to the infirmary. In so much pain, he can't walk. He's also vomited multiple times. Kevil would finally make it back down to the infirmary just before midnight on September 28th.
Notice, as Kevil is being wheeled back into the infirmary, not one nurse or healthcare staff member comes over to assess him.
Well, remember when Mr. Wingo came down, he was already complaining of pain. He was complaining of pain in his stomach abdominal area. And the moment we took him out of his restraints, he went and crawled onto the floor himself.
He kind of hopped out the wheelchair, like just laid on the floor holding his stomach.
Okay.
So we just left him there for a minute.
Yeah.
And just see pain was gonna go away, but he just kept holding his stomach.
He did ask repeatedly to be sent to the hospital, speak to a doctor.
Oh, I knew he was in pain because he was sweating like very bad on the floor.
Okay.
They never so much as take his vital signs. They simply moved him from one end of the jail over to the next, again labeled him with opiate detox, then shoved Kevil off into infirmary room number 8 and forgot about him. And this was the beginning of the final 9 hours of Kevil's life.
Security footage from inside the infirmary shows Kevil's condition rapidly deteriorating. There's at least 6 times where Kevil can be seen fainting, falling to the ground on video.
He fell back because I'm assuming he couldn't breathe.
So you saw him fall back?
I saw him fall back.
Onto the floor and crawled to the window and was asking again, begging for help, and they could not breathe.
So then he gets back up and he falls back on another person's bed.
Okay.
So they drag him back to his bed.
He had fell on other inmates' beds just because he was stumbling.
Right.
It wasn't that he was doing anything,
Right.
bad. He just couldn't stand up.
And then he gets up again, I'm assuming now because he's really scared. And he falls back into the shower. He's like, oh, like that into the shower.
And then he made his way back. He wasn't standing, but he made his way back to the window and was again asking. He said, please help me, I cannot breathe.
And all of this happened right in front of the nurse's station. During this time, Kevil would also develop difficulty breathing, and he begged the nurses and guards to send him to the hospital. Even Kevil's cellmates can be seen banging on the glass, begging to help him.
I say that he was faking it or not, to me, it looked real, and I've seen a lot of people fake it.
I don't remember anybody tell me he fell. No. Or that he was bleeding, or that he was vomiting, or anything like that.
During Kevil's time in the infirmary, there was a shift change from night to morning shift. And we know Kevil's night nurse, Shanna Griffith, made multiple false entries into Kevil's medical chart. stating things like she assessed Kevil, that she took his vital signs, that he didn't have any complaints. These were all lies. This is Kevil's nurse playing cards.
That's a problem.
Did anybody visit go check on him in your presence?
The nurses?
Yes, ma'am.
The nurses didn't really deal with them.
She did this for a good part of the shift. Around 7 a.m. is shift change. That is when Charge Nurse Visser takes over. Nurse Visser would later tell investigators that nobody ever told her about how sick Kevil was, like the fact that he was passing out and vomiting. But listen to what her own lab technician had to say.
He said that he couldn't breathe.
Okay.
And so I informed the charge nurse. I'm the secretary, the unit secretary.
Right.
I informed the charge nurse that he was stating that he was under distress.
And the charge nurse is
Annalene Visser.
Annalene Visser, okay.
He just kept saying, help me, help me. He did state that he could not breathe.
Repeatedly asking for help and that he could not breathe.
Yeah.
Me and the secretary, Tiana both, asked the charge nurse, Annalene, hey, he's asking for help, can we help?
Yeah.
She said no.
And I kept saying, Annalene, he needs help. And then the tech also said, pop the door, let us just go get his vitals or whatever. He's okay. He's just, his oxygen level was such and such.
Didn't even make eye contact. She just kept looking forward.
She never even looked over.
No.
To,
you can hear him.
Okay.
So once he banged on the door, he fell back because I'm assuming he couldn't breathe.
So you saw him fall back?
I saw him fall back.
Onto the floor and crawled to the window and was asking again, begging for help, and they could not breathe.
So then he gets back up and he falls back on another person's bed.
Not only was Nurse Visser told about how sick Kevil was, the lab tech asked to take his vitals and check on him because she's a trained EMT and knew he was not in good shape. Instead, Nurse Visser told her no. She said Kevil was in opiate withdrawal and to leave him alone.
So obviously Kevil's condition would continue to get worse. By this point, Kevil's having difficulty breathing. He can't walk. He continues to faint and fall to the ground. And even his cellmates are begging to get him help so he can go to the hospital. But that's not what happens.
Instead of helping Kevil, Charge Nurse Visser and Deputy Marshall decided they were tired of hearing him complain and begging to go to the hospital. So it was decided to have Kevil moved over to an isolation cell based on these lies stating he was disruptive.
He was upset because he wanted to go to the ER. All along he wanted to go to the ER.
Well, kind of turned out that he probably needed to.
Maybe, but they all want to go to the ER.
Yeah, but
they really do.
I know, but this case, there was no maybe about it. He needed to probably go.
Well, only because he's died.
Attention, Wilkerson.
Hi, do you have a pad open?
Yeah, technically.
I got an idiot over here playing games. He wants to go to the hospital.
Oh, yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah, he's just playing around.
Kevil is barely conscious, and the guards had to pick him up off the floor and put him in a wheelchair to bring him down to the isolation cell.
Once at the isolation cell, guards would strip him naked of his clothes, place Kevil face down over the drain that's used as the toilet. A smock was then laid over the back of Kevil before guards exited the cell. And this was the last time Kevil was seen alive. Moments later, Kevil would incoherently make his way over to the corner of the cell where he would curl up and take his last breath. Guards would not notice this right away, despite multiple documented accounts of them checking on Kevil, saying he was fine during this time.
Kevil's time of death was recorded at 9:30 in the morning on September 29th, 2019. This is the time guards actually physically checked on him. The coroner ruled Kevil's death as natural due to his perforated stomach ulcer. Of course, there was an internal investigation into what happened to Kevil. And wouldn't you know it, it was ruled the nurses and guards broke no laws. Justice.
Here is part of Nurse Visser being questioned by investigators following Kevil's death.
Was there anything else that was down there, or complaints that he was down there for?
Not that I know of, no. I just know it was opiate pain. It was opiate detox.
How about an ulcer? Because that's what he went down for, was an ulcer.
Oh no, nobody told me anything about an ulcer.
So how about if that was happening in Fort South and he got sent down for that?
Well, then the officer would tell us. And you know what we say is,
Well,
if
a nurse,
he is
a
vomiting.
nurse is the one that sent him down for it because she was there. The pill nurse, I believe. Was it?
Yeah, the pill nurse, yeah, she sent him down.
What, for vomiting?
And his complaint was of ulcers.
Of ulcers. Okay, so that's new to me.
Do you guys normally look through the notes and the charts when
You know
train
what?
shifts?
I normally do because I've got to hand over to the doctor, okay? It was Sunday morning, so I hadn't gone through his stuff at all. I think he was room number 8 and we had other people before him. But I do go through it normally to hand over to the doctor, you know, if there's anything else.
Wait, you're saying you didn't look at the chart that morning?
I did not look at the chart. No, I did not look at the chart.
Was any of the times when he was talking, was there anything saying about being in pain?
No.
Because my view of the video is he's in physical pain and he passed out.
Passed out? Wait.
About 6 times. He was getting on the boat, he was passing out. He did it.
No.
One time he was standing straight up and he went flat straight back. Boom. And a nurse saw it.
Which nurse?
The one sitting at the front counter. And she looked up. And
The tech saw it at the front counter, Tiana. And he fell right back. Nobody told me that. I promise you, nobody told me
He
that.
passed out a minimum of 6 times. He went south.
How could he pass out and then just come through quickly? You know what I mean?
He fell out, and it wasn't a fake fall. And no one was watching.
Okay, nobody told me that. Nobody told me that he fell. Nobody told me that at all. He was lying between the 2 bunks. I don't know, maybe he thought that was the bed or he just wanted to lie there. And the only reason I went there is because that gentleman, Mr. on the right-hand side, said, move him because he stinks. We don't want him here.
When they were complaining about being in his boat, it's because he'd be standing there and all of a sudden he'd just be boom, gone.
No. No, you don't pass out like that. No, I don't believe that.
It's on video, so he did.
Yeah,
he did.
Yeah, he just passed out and came back.
It's pretty disturbing.
He'd be out for a little bit time, and then he'd wake up and he was disoriented.
Does it show where he comes to the other guy's bunk?
That's right. He falls in it a couple times. We know it was noticed that he was falling out. Can I say that he was faking it or not? To me, it looked real, and I've seen a lot of people fake it.
I don't remember anybody tell me he fell. No. Or that he was bleeding, or that he was vomiting, or anything like that.
Did any of the nurses say that he fell?
No,
to you?
not to me. No, not to me at all.
No one stated his medical emergency to you that.
And even the deputy at one point in time asked her, do I need to bring him out, Annalene? And she said, no, he's fine.
And think about this, where, while you're sitting at the computer, you're telling me that no one made a comment to you about him not being able to breathe.
No, I promise you. Nobody. Nobody. Okay. I'm not lying, I promise you.
Okay. The nurses that were in the infirmary, assigned out to the infirmary, nurses, techs, whatever they were, did any of those say what
to me?
Yes, to you that he needed to be checked because he could not breathe? You don't recall that?
No, I don't recall that. No, not at all. No.
I was at the computer or whatever, and he rang the bell. And he said that he couldn't breathe. And so I informed the charge nurse. I'm the secretary, the unit secretary. I informed the charge nurse he was under distress.
And the charge nurse is
Annalene
Visser. Okay.
He just kept saying, help me, help me. He did state that he could not breathe. Repeatedly asking for help and that he could not breathe. Me and the secretary, Tiana, both asked the charge nurse, Annalene, hey, he's asking for help, can we help? She said no.
And I kept saying, Annalene, he needs help, he needs help. The tech also said, pop the door, let us just go get his vitals or whatever. He's okay. He's just, his oxygen level was such and such.
Didn't even make eye contact, she just kept looking forward.
She never even looked over. Anybody mentioned about taking his vitals to you? Do you remember when somebody said that to you?
No, nobody said take his vitals, no.
Okay.
And I said, get him out. I said, he said he cannot breathe. I said, if you'll just pull him out, I'll check his vitals, if anything. Just get him out. She gets up from her computer and comes behind the secretary's desk, which is not even close to the cell, and just looks. And she grabbed the paper from the night before. And she said, he's fine. He was satin at 97%, which that was vitals from the night before.
Do you know what his oxygen level was when he came in?
No, I don't recall that.
And I said, he says he cannot breathe. And she said, he just wants drugs.
So what's the protocol? If somebody said they can't breathe, what should you do?
Get him out.
Get him out?
Yes.
Okay.
That is your job.
When was the last time his vitals were taken?
Listen, probably the night before, I think. I don't know what time they do it at night.
Do they do blood pressure checks in the morning under shift? Did they do that with him before he left?
No, not before he left.
I don't go near them as far as vitals are concerned. Only for my
and I see the video and I didn't see the disruptive part. So, just to be honest, I've yet to see him throughout the video acting out at all.
The 2 hours you were here with him, did you see him acting out in any way?
No.
Fighting?
No.
Cursing?
No.
Screaming, yelling?
No.
Just,
he only asked for help.
He just wanted help?
He just wanted help.
Okay.
You could tell his stomach was hurting.
I want to go to the ER. You people don't.
So he was like screaming.
Yeah, he was shouting. Yeah, I want to go to the ER, and I don't know what else he was saying.
But did you ever hear him screaming and yelling in the room?
So he wasn't like disrespectful, cursing anyone, violent, just clearly in pain.
Yeah. He was rowdy. He was loud.
Explain rowdy.
Disruptive, loud, and shouting, and he was upset because he wanted to go to the ER. All along, he wanted to go to the ER.
Well, kind of turned out that he probably needed to.
Maybe, but you know, they all want to go to the ER.
Yeah, but
they really do.
I know, but in this case, there was no maybe about it. He needed to probably go.
Well, only because he's died.
He can't stand up because he's so weak.
No. Okay. Listen, he got up and walked to Marshall.
Right.
He got up and he walked to Marshall. He walked out of the door.
And then he lays on the ground.
Oh, he lay on the ground because he didn't want to get up.
They did come and got him out. He fell again and he was stating that he couldn't breathe.
He lay on the ground. Is that after he was cuffed or before he was cuffed? He didn't want to get up.
Is there anything that you would do different about that night?
Nothing.
Now, Wellstar, the company that provided healthcare services to the jail, would later reach an undisclosed settlement with Kevil's family. As for Nurse Visser, she was able to keep her nursing license. She was only given a year probation on her nursing license and had to pay $400 in fines. In 2020, 11 Alive News would sue the Cobb County Sheriffs because they refused to fill open records requests related to information about deaths in their jail. And a judge would later order them to release that information.
Make sure you check out this documentary on the Kevil Wingo YouTube channel. It provides a lot of great information and background on what happened to Kevil Wingo. You can find a link to this channel in the pinned comment. Our channel is Dark Times with Nico and Sai, and if you made it all the way to the end, thank you so much for watching.
And if you like what you saw, please make sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel. It doesn't cost you anything, and we would be very much appreciated. We will see you in the next video.